This fundamental and enlightening discussion delves into the dramatic shift in carbohydrate consumption over the centuries, contrasting the nutrient-dense whole grains, tubers, and legumes that sustained native populations with the empty calories found in today's processed foods. It is not only interesting but lays a foundation for an inquisitive mindset that will help us all question the predominant and prevailing marketing tactics that we are bombarded with continuously. Please feel free to share and comment, drawing on the groundbreaking research of Dr. Weston A. Price, who studied isolated indigenous tribes in the early 20th century. We explore how these dietary changes have impacted health, body composition, and disease prevalence. By examining past and present diets, we uncover the profound role refined carbohydrates have played in shaping modern health crises, highlighting the importance of returning to nutrient-dense whole foods to restore balance and well-being. We'll also uncover briefly how these dietary changes have profoundly impacted our health, including our body composition, disease prevalence, and overall wellness. Through specific examples, we'll contrast past and present diets and dive deep into how refined carbs have shaped modern health crises. Carbohydrates have played a foundational role in human diets for centuries. However, the type and quality of carbs consumed by native populations before the rise of industrial foods stand in stark contrast to the refined, empty calories dominating today's meals. In these early societies, complex carbohydrates from whole grains, tubers, legumes, and seasonal fruits were the norm. These natural, unprocessed foods didn't just fuel the body, they nourished it deeply with fiber, vitamins, minerals, and other vital nutrients, supporting overall wellness and long-term health. In native rural populations, the primary sources of carbohydrates were whole grains like millet, barley, rye, and corn. These grains were consumed in their unrefined forms, rich in fiber and nutrients, providing slow-releasing energy that kept blood sugar levels steady. Imagine a family grinding whole grains by hand, using stones or other tools, and turning them into flatbreads, porridges, or stews. These meals weren't just satisfying, they were filled with essential vitamins like B vitamins, magnesium, and zinc, supporting everything from energy metabolism to immune function. Unlike the refined grains we see today, these whole grains contained all parts of the grain, bran, germ, and endosperm, preserving the full nutritional profile. Tubers such as sweet potatoes, yams, and other root vegetables were also central to these diets. Tubers are rich in complex carbohydrates and provided a wealth of vitamins A and C, potassium, and antioxidants. These root vegetables, which could be roasted, boiled, or mashed, delivered not just energy but crucial micronutrients that promoted skin health, immune function, and overall vitality. The slow-release nature of their carbohydrates meant they kept blood sugar levels stable and provided sustained energy throughout the day, which was essential for populations engaged in physically demanding lifestyles. Legumes, such as beans, lentils, and peas, were another cornerstone of these traditional diets. Packed with fiber, protein, and slow-releasing carbohydrates, legumes helped maintain a balanced diet and played a crucial role in keeping hunger at bay. For example, native populations in Latin America would often prepare hearty stews with black beans or kidney beans, simmering them over open fires to create a filling, nutrient-dense meal. These foods offered more than just carbohydrates. They were rich in iron, magnesium, and folate, which helped support the body's energy production, muscle function, and red blood cell formation. Fruits, although part of the diet, were eaten sparingly and seasonally. Wild berries, apples, and other fruits were gathered when available and eaten fresh or dried. These fruits were packed with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants, and because they were eaten in moderation, their natural sugars didn't overwhelm the body. Picture a family gathering wild berries from the forest, carefully drying them for future consumption. While these fruits were sweet, their sugars were digested slowly thanks to the fiber content, preventing the dramatic blood sugar spikes we associate with refined sugars today. Honey, a naturally carb-dense food, was viewed as a rare treat and not a daily staple. In many native societies, honey was laboriously harvested from wild bees, making it a highly prized but infrequent part of the diet. It was often used sparingly as a natural sweetener or even for medicinal purposes. Contrast this with today, where honey, and even more so refined sugars, are easily accessible and consumed in vast quantities. In native populations, the effort required to gather honey meant it was a valued resource, consumed mindfully and in moderation, a far cry from the overconsumption of sweeteners seen in modern diets. This brings us to the work of Dr. Weston A. Price, whose travels in the 1930s to study isolated native populations provide a powerful lens through which to examine these traditional diets. Dr. Weston A. Price, a dentist by profession, was chosen to study indigenous populations because of his unique interest in the relationship between dental health, diet, and overall physical well-being. His expertise in dentistry made him particularly well-suited to observe the effects of nutrition on teeth, which are strong indicators of mineralization and general health. Teeth, being highly mineralized tissues, reflect the body's ability to absorb and utilize essential minerals, and Price sought to determine if dietary practices could explain differences in health outcomes, including dental decay and deformities, in various isolated populations. He and his wife were to document the relationship between diet and health in indigenous communities that had not yet been exposed to industrialized foods. Price's findings highlighted that indigenous groups consuming nutrient-dense traditional diets had nearly perfect dental health and overall physical vitality, with low rates of chronic disease. His research extended beyond dental health, showing how nutrient deficiencies, particularly of fat-soluble vitamins and minerals, could lead to physical degeneration, including dental issues, chronic diseases, and even mental health challenges. This made him a pioneer in studying how nutrition impacts not just physical health, but also cognitive and emotional well-being. Dr. Price's observations on the nutritional degeneration caused by the adoption of industrialized diets were key in understanding how food quality, especially in terms of mineral content, affects overall health, including mental clarity and emotional stability. What they found was nothing short of remarkable. Dr. Price observed that in these so-called primitive tribes, people enjoyed robust physical health, strong immunity, and impeccable dental health, despite having no access to modern medicine or dental care. Their diets were centered on nutrient-dense whole foods, including the very same complex carbohydrates we've been discussing, whole grains, legumes, tubers, and natural fruits. The Maasai of East Africa, for example, consumed a diet rich in animal products but also included seasonal tubers and wild grains, all unrefined. Their physical strength and lack of chronic diseases stood in stark contrast to the health of industrialized populations. Similarly, in isolated Swiss villages high in the Alps, where the villagers subsisted on whole rye, bread, dairy, and fresh vegetables, Dr. Price documented strong teeth, lean physiques, and remarkable vitality. The whole rye bread they consumed provided slow-releasing carbs, rich in fiber, and essential vitamins like B6 and magnesium. Notably, Dr. Price found that tooth decay, diabetes, heart disease, and other modern health problems were virtually absent in these communities. The foods they ate were nutrient-dense, unprocessed, and consumed in their whole natural forms. However, when these populations were introduced to modern industrialized foods, such as white flour, refined sugar, and processed oils, their health declined rapidly. Within just one generation, Dr. Price noted the onset of tooth decay, obesity, and chronic diseases that were previously unheard of. For example, the traditional diets of Pacific Islanders, rich in fresh fish, coconut, tubers, and fruits, kept them lean and healthy. But after being introduced to refined carbs like white flour and sugar, these same populations saw an explosion of health issues, including diabetes, heart disease, and even mental health disorders. This shift from complex, nutrient-rich carbohydrates to refined, nutrient-lacking foods created what Dr. Price described as nutritional degeneration. The rapid rise of empty calories, foods that provide energy but lack essential nutrients, meant that these communities, once thriving on balanced whole foods, were now consuming large amounts of refined sugars and grains. These empty calories lacked the fiber, vitamins, and minerals needed for proper bodily function, forcing the body to use up its own nutrient reserves to process and detoxify these refined foods. This led to nutrient deficiencies, weakened immune systems, and increased susceptibility to chronic illnesses. The transformation of carbs from nutrient-dense whole foods to empty calories is where things began to unravel for modern health. As we fast forward to the 21st century, processed foods have taken over, with 250 grams of simple carbs from refined grains, sugars, and processed snacks becoming a daily norm for many people, contributing to widespread health issues like obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. These carbs, stripped of their fiber and nutrients, spike blood sugar quickly and leave behind little more than empty calories that provide energy but no essential nutrients for bodily repair or detoxification. Over time, the body is forced to use up its stores of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to process and detoxify these foods, creating a nutrient deficit and leading to long-term health problems like inflammation, metabolic disorders, and chronic diseases. Dr. Price's work starkly contrasts the balanced natural carb intake of native diets with the carb-dense, nutrient-lacking modern diet. The introduction of industrialized foods has left us with a diet high in calories but low in nutrition, requiring the body to work harder to detoxify and repair itself, without the building blocks it needs to thrive. Even the sugars from seasonal fruits or honey were once consumed mindfully and sparingly, whereas today, refined sugars are ever present and cause significant metabolic stress. This journey through time reveals how the shift from whole grains and tubers to refined sugars and flours has impacted our health. What was once a nutrient-dense diet, designed by nature to support energy and wellness, has now become a diet dominated by empty calories, leading to an epidemic of metabolic diseases, nutrient deficiencies, and chronic health conditions. The work of Dr. Price serves as a reminder that returning to nutrient-dense whole foods can help us restore balance and prevent many of the health issues so common in today's world. The body not only struggles to extract meaningful nutrients from these foods, but also suffers from the oxidative stress they create. Processing refined sugars and grains requires the body to expend valuable antioxidants, such as vitamin C and vitamin E, just to neutralize the free radicals produced by these foods. In the long run, this creates a nutrient deficit where the body is constantly working to detoxify itself without receiving the necessary nutrients to repair and regenerate. Dr. Price's research serves as a powerful reminder that the nutrient-dense, complex carbohydrates of the past, whole grains, tubers, legumes, and seasonal fruits, were foundational to human health and longevity. These foods provided not only energy but also the essential nutrients required to maintain strong bones, teeth, and overall vitality. In contrast, the refined carb-dense foods of today provide little more than empty calories, leading to widespread chronic diseases, nutrient deficiencies, and weakened immune systems. Perhaps most striking is the idea that what we often accept as the natural process of aging, conditions like dental loss, osteoporosis, and even the symptoms of menopause, is in large part tied to nutritional degeneration rather than inevitable biological decline. Dr. Price observed that in societies where traditional diets remained intact, people maintained strong teeth well into old age, without the rampant tooth decay and dental loss seen in modern societies. Similarly, conditions like osteoporosis, which we often associate with aging, were rare or non-existent, as the traditional diets were rich in bone-supporting nutrients such as calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D from whole foods. Even the symptoms of menopause, which are commonly viewed as a sign of inevitable aging, were much milder or absent in the populations Dr. Price studied. In these communities, women experience smoother transitions into later life stages, largely due to their nutrient-rich diets, which included complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and a wide array of vitamins and minerals. Modern research supports these findings, showing that nutrient deficiencies, particularly in vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, and healthy fats, can exacerbate menopausal symptoms and contribute to earlier onset or more severe experiences of aging-related conditions. By revisiting the wisdom of these traditional diets and understanding the vital role of whole, unprocessed carbohydrates in supporting our body's natural processes, we can begin to reverse many of the health issues that plague modern society. It is not the passage of time itself that leads to many of the problems we face in aging, but rather the nutritional degeneration caused by our reliance on refined and processed foods. By returning to a diet rich in complex carbs, whole foods, and essential nutrients, we can support healthy aging, preserve bone density, maintain dental health, and ease transitions like menopause, reminding us that vibrant health is not merely a matter of age, but of nourishment. Let's take a moment to reflect on a critical factor often overlooked in modern nutrition, the mineral depletion of our soils. As early as 1936, the U.S. government issued warnings about the deteriorating quality of our soils, stating that they had become unfit to produce crops rich in essential minerals due to overcultivation and poor agricultural practices. Since then, the widespread use of monocropping, chemical fertilizers, and industrial farming methods has only worsened the situation. Today, many of our soils lack vital minerals such as magnesium, zinc, and selenium, which are crucial for our health. When soils are depleted, the crops grown in them are also deficient in these key nutrients. This mineral depletion directly impacts the nutritional quality of our food, leading to lower levels of essential vitamins and minerals in the fruits, vegetables, and grains we consume. As a result, even a diet that appears healthy, rich in plant-based foods, may still lack the full spectrum of nutrients required for optimal health, contributing to widespread nutrient deficiencies. It's a reminder that our connection to the Earth's natural processes is more significant than we often realize. Food is only as nutritious as the soil it's grown in, and the health of our soils directly influences our own well-being. Seeking out regeneratively farmed, organic, or mineral-replenished foods can help bridge this gap, but it also highlights the urgent need to reconsider how modern agriculture impacts not just the environment, but our health as well. In summary, in the 1700s, people consumed around 10-15 grams of sugar per day, mostly from natural sources like fruit or honey, equivalent to 1 apple's worth of sugar. Fast forward to 2024, and the average person consumes 77 grams of added sugar daily, roughly 5 donuts worth. This shift has led to widespread issues like obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Traditional diets rich in whole grains, legumes, and tubers sustained populations for centuries, while today's refined carbs contribute to nutrient deficiencies and chronic illness. Dr. Weston A. Price's research shows the stark health contrast between native diets and modern processed foods, reminding us of the importance of returning to whole, nutrient-dense carbohydrates